Good day. My name is Engineer Abubakar Sam, and I'm happy to do this my proposal paper on integrated assessment of green building certifications in Nigeria, enhancing the multidisciplinary collaboration for sustainable infrastructure delivery. Now, for this paper, we will be having our sections of our introduction, research questions, proposal objectives, methodology, the expected outcomes, our timeline and work plan, significance, and conclusion. Starting with our introduction. The rapid urbanization and infrastructural expansion in Nigeria present a critical juncture for sustainable development. As Africa's most populous nation and largest economy, Nigeria faces mounting environmental challenges, including resource depletion, carbon emissions, and climate vulnerability, exacerbated by conventional construction practices that account for approximately 13% of the Nigeria's GDP, which is a significant contributor to these issues, underscoring the urgency and transformative approaches to infrastructure delivery. Against this backdrop, green building certification has emerged as a vital framework to standardize sustainability in construction, yet their adoption in Nigeria remains very nascent and fragmented. The objective of this paper is twofold: to diagnose the current state of green building certification awareness, adoption, and challenges across Nigeria's construction ecosystem using empirical data from diverse stakeholders, that's architects, engineers, policymakers, etc. And that's to propose a collaborative framework that aligns technical and environmental policy disciplines to accelerate sustainable infrastructure delivery. This framework prioritizes scalability, contextual adaptation, and policy stakeholder alignment. Our research questions would boil down to four areas. One, how effective are the green building certifications in promoting sustainable practices in Nigeria? What barriers do stakeholders face in implementing green building certifications in Nigeria? What best practices can be identified from our from green building certification implementations in other countries that could be adapted in the Nigerian context? And then finally, how can existing policy frameworks be improved to support the adoption of green building certifications in Nigeria? We have knowledge gaps in some certain areas within this field already. The significance of this study extends beyond academic inquiry. It is a crucial step towards fostering a sustainable future for Nigerian infrastructure sector. By addressing the barriers to the green building certification and promoting multidisciplinary collaboration, this research aims to create a comprehensive framework that supports sustainable development and enhance the resilience of communities across Nigeria. Now, the knowledge gaps that we have seen are in several areas, one being the limited awareness and understanding. This is amongst builders, architects, and the general public about the benefits and processes involved in obtaining green building certification. Many stakeholders are either unaware of existing certification programs or lack detailed knowledge about the advantages or requirements. We also now have insufficient data on impact. There is a scarcity of empirical data assessing the actual impact of green building certifications on energy efficiency, cost savings, and environmental benefits in the Nigerian context. Most studies focus on theoretical frameworks, leaving a gap in practical evidence that demonstrates the effectiveness of these certifications in reducing carbon footprints and enhancing sustainability. Existing literature does not adequately address the specific challenges faced by the Nigerian construction firms in implementing the green building practices. Factors such as high initial costs, lack of skilled labor, and inadequate government incentives are often mentioned but not explored in depth. Cultural and regulatory barriers. This is limited There is limited exploration of the cultural attitude towards sustainability and how they influence adoption of green building certifications. Additionally, the regulatory framework surrounding these certifications lack comprehensive analysis, particularly regarding how policies can be improved to encourage wider adoption. Most research tends to generalize findings across various sectors without focusing on specific industries such as residential or commercial buildings. There's a gap in understanding how green building certifications can be integrated into traditional building practices and local construction methods. Research needs to explore how certifications can be adapted to fit this local context while still meeting international sustainability standards. And finally, there's the need for longitudinal studies that track the outcomes of certified buildings over time. Such studies would provide insight into the long-term benefits and challenges associated with GBCs. So for our proposal objectives, we have a number of them, speaking to the first one, to explore how among various stakeholders as governments, NGOs, and industry can improve the effectiveness of green building certifications, to propose a framework for interdisciplinary partnerships to foster sustainable infrastructure development, in the area of promotion to investigate the role of green building certifications in advancing sustainable infrastructure delivery in Nigeria, and to highlight best practices and case studies that demonstrate successful implementation. We also, in the areas of knowledge gaps, we want to identify and address gaps in the current literature regarding the building practices in Nigeria, and also to contribute to the body of knowledge on sustainable construction and environmental impact. In policies, we would like to provide actionable recommendations for policymakers to enhance their regulatory framework surrounding green building certifications while suggesting improvements to the existing policies to better support sustainable development goals. Of course, this issue of raising awareness, where we will increase the awareness among stakeholders about the importance of green building practices and certifications, and encourage the adoption and sustainable practices in the construction industry through education and outreach. And then finally, to align the research with global sustainability initiatives such as the UN's SDGs, demonstrate how improving green building certifications can contribute to broader environmental and of social objectives. In our methodology, the the research is to employ a mixed method approach centered on structured stakeholder surveys designed to capture quantitative and qualitative insights on green building certifications. The methodology was selected to address the dual objectives of assessing current certification practices and identifying pathways for enhancing multidisciplinary approach. In our expected outcomes, among the expected outcomes are a comprehensive evaluation. That's where we'll have a detailed assessment of the effectiveness of the green building certification in Nigeria, highlighting their strengths and weaknesses. Framework, that would be talking to the development of a framework for enhanced multidisciplinary collaboration amongst stakeholders, including government agencies, NGOs, and the private sector. Identification and documentation of the best practices in green building certifications that can be implemented across Nigeria. Concrete recommendations for policymakers aimed at improving the regulatory environment for green building certification. Enhance awareness amongst stakeholders about the importance of green building practices and the benefits of certification. Contribution to the academic and practical knowledge base regarding green building certifications and sustainable infrastructure in Nigeria. Clear connections drawn between improved green building practices and achievements of the UN's SDGs. Anticipated positive impacts on environmental sustainability through the adoption of recommended practices and policies. And of course, increased engagement and dialogue amongst the stakeholders regarding sustainable practices in the construction industry, and identification of for future research based on gaps and challenges uncovered during the assessment. The workflow is to be in 5 phases, which will be the first phase being planning and literature review, then data collection, data analysis and interpretation, writing and revision, and submission and dissemination, which will be a total of about 18 weeks. And the significance. The significance of this paper lays in the expectation of it highlighting the promotion of sustainable development, economic benefits, enhanced stakeholder collaboration, policy development and improvement, social benefits, and global leadership that's positioning Nigeria as a leader in sustainability. In this paper, we hope to see how we can develop and enforce policies that promote green building practices, including incentives for certified projects and penalties for non-compliance. Invest in educational programs that equip professionals in the construction industry with the knowledge and skills necessary to implement green building standards effectively. Encourage partnerships among architects, engineers, environmental scientists, and policymakers to create a holistic solution that addresses the complexities of sustainable infrastructure delivery. Drive awareness campaigns to educate and to educate the public about the benefits of green buildings, to reflect local context and challenges. The future implications of adopting green building certification in Nigeria are profound. As the country grapples with rapid urbanization and environmental degradation, enhancing these certifications can lead to significant advancements in sustainable construction practices. This shift will likely attract both local and international investments, stimulate job creation in the green economy, and enhance Nigeria's competitiveness on the global stage. Moreover, increased collaboration among stakeholders, include government agencies, private sector players, and civil society, will be essential for driving innovation and ensuring successful implementation of sustainable practices. Thank you.